Hello everyone, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training 62 minutes of chess because we have broken the 3,700 threshold on YouTube, which is pretty cool. But I have to be completely honest, guys, I am so tired, and yeah, I don't really want to do these tactics, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is what a routine is all about. And sticking to it is what we do. So yeah, we're gonna do some more Woodpecker training today. Very briefly, I am going to quickly attempt to solve this position, which Jan, who is a frequent viewer of the stream, sent me from one of his over the board games. And apparently it shouldn't be too hard, so just a bit of a warm-up exercise for black to play and find the right move. Now, immediately I'm seeing these ideas of like the king being vulnerable on g1. So let's try and calculate this properly. So we've got queen rook rook bishop bishop knight against queen rook rook bishop bishop knight. We've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Actually, that's a question that I want to ask chat. Like, how large are your fluctuations in terms of mental alertness as well as chess ability? Like, if you hear this question and you're on the stream now, I'd be really curious to hear, like, yeah, how big are the jumps? Because, like, for instance, today, like, yeah, no, I'm just completely out of it, so it's gonna be really tough. But okay, what is there to note about this position? I mean, ideally with like a methodical calculation method, even in the state, I should be able to find the right answer. So let's just keep going. What else is there to add? I'm trying to draw arrows, which is obviously impossible. Queen is on the line of a king. Bishop and knight are open to attacking this d4 pawn. Nothing is actually hanging, but potentially when the knight takes on d4, there is pressure on the queen. So, yeah, let's begin with our checks. We've got bishop takes and queen takes. Our captures, we've got knight takes. Okay, let's keep going. Bishop takes h3 is possible too. So, okay, what about the threats? Maybe e5 could be interesting, but not with the king in the center like this. So okay, let's start with our checks then. So bishop takes d4 is a check. If they don't take back, we've just won a pawn. So bishop takes d4, pawn takes. Now we can either take with queen or knight. Now if we take with queen, it's just a check and we're down a piece, and they just go king h1. Should be fine. So bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Hits the queen. And let's say queen d1. Well, I guess there, at the very least, we could go knight b3 to discover check and then take the rook on a1. So even if we lose the knight in the corner, we still will have won rook and 2 pawns for bishop and knight. I wonder if we can do even better. Bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, knight takes. If queen d1. I guess knight f3 and knight e2 aren't really leading anywhere. So okay, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, queen d1, knight b3 check, king h1, knight takes a1. Can we be satisfied with that position? We get a passed d pawn as well. I just don't see a way we get our knight back out. But it's also not easy for them to attack us, and that also spends time for them. Okay, let's not tunnel vision. Let's check something else just in case. So knight takes first. If pawn takes, bishop takes, king h1. Doesn't look great. I assume bishop takes has to be the move, and you just ride those complications. And I think it looks slightly better for black, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Samsara, Fabiano played C3 Venom for real. I mean, ask AI. Like literally type in on Google 1c3 Caruana, and the first thing that comes up, literally read this. Use of the opening c3, a less common but viable move that white can steer the game away from theoretical battles and towards a more flexible and positional approach. Caruana has developed and endorsed a repertoire for this opening known as 1c3 Venom. And the reason why it says that on Google is because of my stupid YouTube video that says Caruana endorses C3 Venom, which just shows how stupid AI is and how misleading it can be. But, you know, if AI says Caruana endorses C3 Venom, then who am I to complain? So, thank you AI for backing C3 Venom. And welcome Jan to the stream as well. So I was just having a look at your exercise, and I couldn't really evaluate it so well, but I assume bishop takes d4, pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, queen d1, knight b3, king h1, knight takes a1 is the best. That's my line. Phantom Bishop, welcome to the stream. Bishop d4, cd4, bishop d4, cd4, knight b4. Oh. Queen b1, then queen takes d4. Oh my god. Phantom Bishop, let's go. Oh, I didn't even consider that. This is what I mean, right? I mean, no one's answered my question, right? My question was like, how much does your form fluctuate from day to day? Because for me, I'm just completely out of it. Like, yeah, no chance in seeing bishop d4, pawn d4, knight b4. Not happening. But yeah, very nice move. Oh, but Faz is trying to dispute Phantom Bishop's line. Faz is saying after bishop d4, cd4, on knight b4, there's queen b3, which defends the bishop. But then queen d4 check anyway? Doesn't that still pick up the bishop on d3? You can take with the knight? So I don't really get the queen b3 response, Faz. Doesn't this also win? Too much focus on positional chess to get tactically sharp? I mean, bro, I've been focusing purely on tactics like recently. My positional chess is from years ago. So, I mean, I've been trying. It's just, bro's got a slow brain, you know? What can I do? Yeah, I don't think it defends. I think we still win the bishop. So, Jan, this is Jan's puzzle, so you have to reveal the answer, Jan. But yeah, let's get into today's real workout, which starts with this Woodpecker method. And we are still on Mikhail Tal, for the love of God. Also, on a side note, I may as well bring this up now because it's going to come up at some point, but I'm pretty sure I broke my finger playing basketball on Friday. And it's the first time I've ever broken a bone. And I've just realized how annoying it is to actually break anything. Because apparently you're supposed to, like, tape your fingers together like this and allow the bone to kind of heal. And I literally yesterday, I was at like the Lime Street train station and I had some finger wrap on. And I was just like, well, I want to play the piano. So I just took the finger wrap off and played the piano. And then I was like, shit, I probably need to put this back on. So I can't deal with like, having something tie me down for like 2-3 weeks. It's just so inconvenient. It's so annoying. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get bored and take it off again and then just have crooked fingers for the rest of my life, and arthritis and all kinds of finger pains and muscle pains, and because I can't keep this on for 2-3 weeks. We'll just have to see. But okay, let me try solve this. Probably someone in the chat has got this already. Let's go. So we've got queen rook bishop knight against queen rook bishop knight. 4, 5, 5. What is going on? Literally, what is going on? We've got a queen pressuring these pawns, knight pressuring these pawns. Maybe some potential back rank someday. Unlikely though. Bishop is kind of supporting these pieces. Rook feels a bit passive. Bishop is loose. Queen and rook are controlling each other. Queen is the only piece defending the knight. Rook is loose. We've got a slight difference in pawn structure over here. So, okay. Let's just start calculating. So, do we have any checks? No. Do we have any captures? I mean, take with either queen or knight on both of these squares. Do we have any threats? I mean, the bishop is exposed. So, I mean, you know, these potentially could all be threats. Rook a8 could be a threat. e5 could be a threat. Queen b4 could be a threat, but probably is terrible. So, okay, let's begin with our captures then. So, do any of these captures make sense? Okay, let's start with, like, the queen sack. Like, they just take. Terrible. Queen takes here. If they take back, and I take, can they take? I'm just a rook down. I mean, a knight for a pawn down. What if I take with the knight first? They can take with the queen, hitting my queen? I don't like that. Oh, what about knight takes? Because then on queen takes, maybe I can push d5 and discover the bishop. That looks very nice, actually. And I wonder if there's a difference here. Like, is knight takes different, or queen takes, knight takes, rook takes, and then d5? So probably one of them works and one of them doesn't, and there's some subtle difference between the two. So what could be the difference? If queen takes e4, what moves can white play here? If they take my knight, I can throw in takes the queen first, and we don't have any more intermediate moves. So queen takes wins a pawn. None of my pieces are loose. If they take, and I take, do they have any other moves except taking my knight? Can they throw anything else in first? I don't think so. No, they can. They can throw in bishop takes. No, they can't, because I take with the knight. Right? So queen takes, knight takes. I don't think they have anything like that. So rook takes them, and I just go push. If they take my bishop, though, I take their rook. And then I only have rook against bishop knight, but their bishop is hanging. Probably they should go back to c5. And maybe that's unclear, actually. If I play like rook c8, they can always play b4. That feels unclear, whereas if I were to take immediately, then I actually hit the queen, as opposed to a rook. So that's the difference. I hit the queen has to move somewhere, I win this bishop, and then I've won a pawn very cleanly. And if I take with the knight, and they don't take my knight, well, next I can go d5 as well. So this looks very legit. Yeah, let's play it. Okay, nice. So I think it was worth seeing the difference, and I think again Axel Smith should consider what provide this as a variation, but you know we don't expect anything from this guy anymore. So queen e4, knight e4, rook e4, d5, bishop f8, yeah. And wow, it's actually better for white. I mean, I thought bishop c5, okay, I'm glad I found this move. And rook c8 versus b4, which is the point. Because I saw that we have these two extra pawns, so I thought, you know, black should still probably be better, but I guess not. Like, can't we play e5? Like, why are we having to play f5 and blundering this pawn? Like, what happens if we go e5? Just go knight f5 or knight b5, trying to come in here. I guess they're slowly picking up their pawns back. Yeah, looks like the pawn is dropping in all lines. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let me switch to the correct overlay as well. My apologies. Yeah, that was good. So how did people do? D5 in the end. Sounds very good. So, Phantom Bishop, I'm very curious to hear more. You're approaching tactics from a positional lens. How would you suggest otherwise then? Because this is the only way I know how to solve these exercises. I mean, if I go off of pure intuition, I mean, it's very 50-50. And it's not so easy to just improve your attacking intuition if you don't have it. Welcome Amazon to the stream. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. How is life in the East? Yeah, okay, so Faz understood the difference as well. Very nice. Good stuff. What do you mean knight e7, Jan? Oh, was there a threat of knight e7? Did I miss this? Wait, I'm very curious now. Did I miss like a fork or some shit? Oh, it's in the other line. I don't know. Maybe I missed a fork. I don't know what knight e7 is from Jan. Probably there was some fork I missed. Yeah, I guess the rook's on c8, the king's on g8, and probably there was some threat of knight e7. I guess so. Yeah, who sees that? Who sees that? Okay, Tau against Bronstein. Let's go. We've got Queen Rook Knight against Queen Rook Bishop. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 5. White to play. So, what do we understand about this position? So obviously that king is very weak. We got our queen and rook are like quite active. So there is X-ray pressure on our king. There is bishop pressuring the rook. Queen might be able to come in. Queen is the only piece protecting the knight. King is very exposed. King is on a white square. Rook is being attacked. This is loose. This is somewhat loose due to the pin. Okay, so let's start calculating with all of this in mind. This was loose, this was loose, this was loose. Okay, so what checks do we have? We've got check, 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 and check. What captures do we have? I guess we've got this capture, only one capture. And what about threats? Oh, I also missed this check. This could be relevant as well. Have I missed any more checks? Okay. And the knight, of course. And what about threats in this position? I mean, given how much is going on, it feels like probably we need to be more forceful. So, okay, so let's start with our checks. Let's just get this knight one out of the way, just in case it works immediately. So knight check, they don't have to take us, they could move, but this looks very risky. Because then we've got a discovery. So let's imagine that they take with the pawn. Well, that looks really good. Well, I don't know. I mean, queen h6, they can block queen g7. So I'm not so sure how this really helps. Well, then again, we could give a check on d8 then. And if they go king g7, then we can go rook g6, king h7, queen g8 mate. So actually, maybe this is legit. And the difference is that, you know, if you try and go for this immediately, you don't have rook g6 immediately because of this pawn. So actually, this kind of weakens these two squares. If they have to move the king somewhere, then I guess we could block the queen with a check. They have to go back to f8. I feel like there's probably a checkmate here. Probably queen h6. If king g8, rook e8, rook takes f8 mate, and if rook g7 blocks, then queen f6 check, rook f7, queen h8 mate. Yeah, so knight g6 is just winning. So I was a bit lucky that we kind of looked at it first. Oh, what am I doing? We need to check this way. Let's not just blunder after calculating everything. Nice. So, let's see how did people do on this one. Oh, I love to see it. It's music to my ears. Faz says knight g6. Jan says point of knight g6 question mark. And then says will take Michael 20 minutes. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. Bring on the hate, Jan. But yeah, looks like we got it. You've given me motivation to train. I'm trying to finish the useful series in 3 months. Are you kidding me? Phantom. I mean, that's... that's ridiculous. I mean, what? The 9-book series in 3 months. So what? That means you're doing 3 books a month? Which means 1 book a week. 1 book a week! And you're gonna solve all the exercises. You gotta be mad. Unless you're not doing all the exercises and you're just reading the content, then that's fair. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Let me clarify one thing. When it comes to solving positions like this, it takes me longer because I'm not used to such chaotic positions. Like I'm a player that relies heavily on understanding of the position, and then the tactics come to me. Like I have a very good sense of like the flow of the game, and this affects my ability to find moves, right? When you give me a random puzzle, I have no bearings over where I am. I'm just dumped on a random island and expected to navigate, right? So, of course, this takes me longer than finding, you know, tactics in a real game. And I would say that, like, yeah, if I were to just try and just find the move just intuitively, which, you know, some of you in the chat might be doing, that's all well and good, and I probably could find it faster. But the thing is, I'm not here to try and find tactics quickly. I'm here to find accurately. And as you can see, all the puzzles so far, I've got them all correct. Yeah, might have taken me, like, longer, but that's not the point. Because in a classical game, when it's a critical position, all you need to do is find the correct move. I mean, you will have the time to find it. So I don't care if it's slow. I just care if it's correct. Because, you know, this is trying to train my calculation and train my classical chess. And at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. Like, I literally gained 60-something points last month in FIDE, and that doesn't happen unless your chess is good. So, basically, I'm going to keep doing it as I'm doing. I don't care if it's slow. I don't care if sometimes it's fast. I don't care if this is easy for some of you or not. It's good workout for me, and I'm just going to keep going. So, I hope that explains everything. So, let's keep going. Mikhail Tau against Plaskett. White to play. So, let's understand what's going on. We've got Queen, Rook, Rook, Queen, Rook, Rook, Bishop, Bishop, Knight against Knight, Knight, Bishop. So, I have Bishop pair against Knight and Bishop. What else is going on in this position? Both of our kings are a bit exposed because we only have 2 pawns to help defend us. That means the dark squares are weak for our king. The light squares are weak for this king. So, anything else to note? The queen is kind of on the line of this king. We have a light squared bishop, which could be useful one day. The knight and bishop are potentially vulnerable to a fork. There's tension between the knights. Bishop has some pressure on h6. Rook is undeveloped on a1. Rook is open on f1. There is no dark squared bishop to potentially attack our dark squares here. What about the loose pieces? Bishop is loose on e6. Queen is loose on d3. Okay, so are there any more x-rays that we should understand? There's some x-ray pressure here. X-ray pressure between the rooks. And that's about it. So, okay. What checks do we have in this position? We've got knight e7, we've got knight f6. Got queen h7. What about captures? We've got knight c7, knight f6, rook f6. And what about threats? Knight f4 could be a threat, hitting the bishop. I guess rook e1, but looks very awkward. Like, the rook already looks quite happy. I mean, bishop h6 was a capture. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I guess queen g6 could potentially be a threat with like some knight f6 ideas. So okay, let me go through that again. So I had check, check, and then captures. I had a bunch of captures and capture with the rook as well. And then threats, I had knight f4, queen g6, rook e1, and queen g6 as well. So okay, with all of that in mind, let's start calculating. So, and remember, I've got this threat of the fork as well, potentially. So okay, let's start with knight f6, because this wins a piece. So they have to recapture, and they can recapture in 3 different ways. If they recapture with the queen, I just take the queen. If they recapture with the pawn, at the very least their king is weak. I mean, queen g6 already looks devastating. And at the very least we win a pawn, if not more. So that means they're forced to take with the rook. If they take with the rook, we have this idea of this fork, but potentially they can capture this rook with check. Now my gut instinct is rook takes f6 would be less useful because the queen develops as well, and I feel like the queen has strong influence over the board. So I'd be more tempted to just say push d5 and win a piece. Now does it win a piece? Now black can always throw in rook f1. They can also play the move knight e5. So knight e5 appears to get out of everything. So maybe this fork idea isn't ever really working. Let's look at this once more. Knight f6, rook f6. Do you have any other ideas here? Let's try this rook f6, queen f6. Yeah, not really seeing it. So, okay, maybe we can come back to it if we get stuck. So let's keep going. So knight e7. I mean, they just take it, right? If d5 again, we go knight e5. And I really don't see the point. So, okay, let's look at our other check. Queen h7. Probably not, right? I mean, knight takes is probably easiest. Okay, so after this, we look at our captures. What captures do we have? We can take on c7. Queen takes c7. d5, knight e5. Still nothing. So, okay, what other captures do we have? We've got rook takes f6. Now, this is a little bit interesting. I mean, if they go rook takes and we go knight takes, queen takes, that's a transposition, and we know that's already not what we want. So, do we have anything better than knight f6? Don't see it. So, okay, the last capture is bishop h6. If they take with the pawn, then what? If they take with the pawn, then we go queen g6, king h8, and now we're picking up the knight. So now we can go like knight f6 or something. So this looks very, very good. So okay, bishop h6, I don't think they can take back with the pawn. We should probably calculate it a bit further, but bishop h6, if they don't take the pawn, what can we do instead? Well, they're a pawn down. if they take on d5, here I can take back with the pawn and get this fork, because there's still no knight e5. Maybe there's knight b4 though. Bishop h6, knight takes d5. I also have some in-between moves, potentially. Like, maybe I can try take on g7. It definitely feels like something should work here. I don't know which one it is, though. Sorry, bishop h6 and knight d5, and we either take back or we throw in some intermezzo, like bishop g7 or rook f8 or something. Okay, how about, actually, simplest, bishop h6, knight d5, we give the fork, and if they go knight b4, we just go queen g6. And then we're threatening mate and the bishop. And there's no way you can save the bishop as well as stop mate. And they can't take our bishop because of this pin, right? So I think bishop h6 is very clean. Bishop h6, any other ideas? If they throw in knight b4 immediately, I can go queen g6. Bishop h6. Yeah, I think it just wins. I'm really trying to dig deep to see if I can find any ideas. What about bishop h6? They try and take on d4. Like, if I take the knight, then they take back, and then maybe it's, like, holdable. So, what about this move? I mean, I don't have a good, like, intermediate check, so we could probably take on g7. Take on g7, and if king takes then I take back, and at least I've won a pawn. So I think we can go for it. So they took on d5 with the bishop. Now, I didn't consider this move. Probably should have. If I just take back, if they throw in knight b4, then I've still got this queen g6. And then I haven't even lost a piece, right? And if they take here, then I just take here. So pawn takes should just be fine, I think. Yeah, and queen g6. Okay, very nice. Right, so I hope you know this. You see the method in process, right? Like, you see that, like, okay, sure, it takes me a bit of extra time because I'm kind of like methodically going through step by step, but it means that I don't miss anything. If I just, you know, follow which move feels right all the time, then, you know, sometimes the intuition is so strong that I have to look at it, right? But when it's not as strong, I feel like it's better just to comb everything and make sure I don't miss anything compared to just stab in the dark and hopefully not miss an important candidate move. And I think for me as a chess player, missing that important candidate move was a bigger problem. So I have to do things this way. Yeah, appreciate that summary, Phantom Bishop. Ignore the detractors, accuracy over speed. Yeah, accuracy is the most important thing right now for me. Yeah, so it looks like both Faz and Josh are getting bishop h6. Welcome, Josh, to the stream, by the way. Hope things are good. Yeah, Satsara, are you playing Forncio as well? That is the plan, to play some Forncio. Welcome Frizz to the stream as well. I'm seeing a lot of bishop g5, but I don't know where. When are you talking about this bishop g5 move? Yeah, I can't seem to work out when you guys are talking about bishop g5. But to be honest, this looks good enough. So yeah, and this line, I can't remember if I said knight takes or rook takes. I wonder if it makes a difference. Yeah, both are completely winning. Okay, that's good. Okay, nice. Let's do one more. Okay, Tao against Shabalov. Also, Frizz, I had a small break from Steins Gate, but I started watching some more like yesterday and today. And I'm up to like episode like 15 or 16. And it's so difficult not to just binge the rest because like the whole plot just spirals and you just want to just keep watching. So I'm gonna need to like control myself after this stream because I really wanna watch and see it all unfold again. It's so interesting. But okay, let's keep going. So we got Queen Rook Rook, Bishop Bishop Knight against Queen Rook Rook, Bishop Knight Knight. So we got Bishop pair. We got 1 2 3 4 5 6 against 6. White to play. What is going on in this position? A small mini tactic, which probably doesn't work, which is why, you know, like, it's almost like I need to control my intuition, but like bishop takes b7, rook takes b7, knight c6. Looks interesting just to go for a fork, which probably doesn't even work. But who knows, maybe it does. I don't know, but anyway, let's try and do this properly. So the rook and queen are on the line of this rook, same with this way, queen is pressuring this rook, bishop has some x-ray pressure, bishop has some pressure here. Yeah, lots of tension on the board. Knight is only defended by the queen. Rook is only defended by the bishop. Rook is only defended by the knight, but everything is protected. Everything is protected on this side as well. King is a little exposed, but doesn't feel like black's pieces are doing anything to harm it. Likewise with black. Okay, so what ideas do we have? Do we have any checks? No. Do we have any captures? Yes, we've got bishop takes b7, as I said. We've got knight takes e6, potentially. And what about threats? Maybe knight c6 immediately. b4 might be useful to throw in. Maybe knight b5, hitting the rook. Actually, all of the knight moves are kind of interesting, even like knight f5. You never know. Any other threats in this position? Maybe knight b3, because this hits the queen. Okay, so with all of this in mind, let's start calculating. So let's start with bishop takes b7, just be a bit more clear about this. Firstly, are they even forced to take us? I mean, if they even try and block our bishop, we've still got this knight c6, so it does look pretty strong. Bishop b7. Yeah, I don't see a move they can play. So, okay, let's say they take us then. And then my idea was knight c6. Maybe we can do something else as well, but let's try knight c6. We hit the queen. We are defending our rook twice with the bishop and queen. So what do they actually do? Maybe they take my queen with the my rook with their rook and attack my queen. But I was thinking maybe I could throw in knight e7 intermezzo, but the problem is it is defended by this rook. And then we take, they take, we take, and I mean, did we just lose a piece even? I think we lost a piece. So bishop b7, rook b7, knight c6, rook takes d2. It's my current issue. But maybe I take that queen. How about that? Knight c6, rook takes rook, and I take that queen. They take mine with check, I take back. And I am hitting their rook and their knight at the same time. And in fairness, if they play rook b8 to save their rook and defend their knight, I can go back to c6, attacking the rook. And if the rook moves to the only square on b7 where it protects the knight and protects the bishop, then I can take the bishop with check, rook takes, and bishop takes b6. So what the hell has happened in that line? So bishop b7, I've won a pawn, rook b7, they've won a piece. Knight c6, rook takes d2, they've won a rook and a bishop for a pawn. I then take their queen, so I've got a queen and a pawn for rook and bishop. They then take my queen, so the queens trade. And I take their rook. So then they've just got bishop for pawn. But then they have to go rook b8, I go knight c6, they go rook b7. I take their bishop, they take back, and I take their knight. So the end of that line, I am a pawn up, and they don't even have like rook b7 to try and win this pawn, because I may even have this rook d8. Or, okay, at the very least, because rook d8 maybe gets complicated after king f8, so maybe I just retreat the knight and protect the b pawn at the same time. So I think I'm a pawn up in that endgame. The question is there something better here? Maybe I should do a very, very quick look. But I reckon my evaluation is bishop takes b7 wins a pawn with best play. What about knight e6? Again, they can play like rook takes d2. But then I can play bishop takes d2 and try and pick up the rook. So how does that work? If knight takes e6 and they take back, then I just take here. And I've won a pawn again. I mean, that variation I looked at was quite long, so maybe that could have been a mistake. I mean, does this just win material? I mean, knight e6 looks very strong. I mean, I also had knight c6 immediately, which also might be strong, although I'm only hitting the bishop and the queen, so if they play rook takes, and if I go bishop takes, then they can probably just move their queen, and the knight's not doing as much. So knight e6 looks better. What about knight b3? The queen's not trapped, is it? They can still take here. Yeah, and this looks alright for them. So I think it's a debate whether bishop b7 or knight e6 so far. Knight e6 also just wins the pawn. So what am I missing? Now, because of the amount of time I have left, it does make sense to play bishop b7 when in doubt, because that's the one I've looked at more thoroughly. Knight e6. What can we do? I wish I had a bit more time. Knight e6. If they take my knight, I take their rook. If knight e6 and they take my rook, knight e6, they take my rook. I take with the bishop. I guess they could take on e5 maybe. And if I take, they take. And what's the material like there? I think I'm definitely better there. I'm definitely better. Like, somehow I'm feeling like knight e6 is actually just really simple, but at the same time I haven't calculated it as deeply as the other lines. So it just makes me doubt. For instance, a move that scares me, like, for instance, is like rook d7 here. Like, imagine if that's a move. They take my queen, I take their queen with check, they take back. Nah, it's also good. Oh, what to do? Let's play it. It's correct, yeah. I mean, it looked too good in the end. Like, I was trying to justify it, but let's have a look at this bishop takes b7, because I really thought this was strong. So knight e6 is just winning, yeah. It was that simple, I guess. Bishop b7 is not winning, so long variation, wrong variation strikes again. Knight c6 was my plan. Rook takes d2. how did I miscalculate this then? Rook d1, rook d1, and I thought there was this problem here. Oh fuck, rook d7. You see, it's actually plus 1.5. So like, it actually is a good line for white, but that's the whole point of long variation, wrong variation. Like, the longer the variation, the more chance that there could be something wrong. But then there's also that principle, yeah, the one you calculate more is the one you should kind of stick with. You shouldn't try and jump at the last second, but I had just enough time to calculate knight e6 to a point where I felt like it's just simpler and just better. Yeah, exactly. So it's really interesting to hear both Frizz and Faz say they both intuitively don't like bishop b7. And yeah, thanks for the well played, because yeah, this is I was able to make the right decision even though I didn't see this resource. So rook d7, what a move! Hitting the loose rook, allowing itself to get captured, but in turn removing the knight. So yeah, if rook b8, then knight c6 is indeed the point. And on rook b7, I've got knight e7 and take here. And I saw that, oh, I thought this was a knight at the end. I thought I could jump back like this. But I was also thinking I could play rook d8. And okay, if I've got the bishop, then I've king f8 is met by bishop c5. I thought I had a knight. And I was calculating like rook d8, king f8, knight d7, and king e7. And I was like, this just doesn't look good, so best to just retreat. But got the wrong piece. But yeah, bishop c5 is also a very effective way of stopping them winning my pawn, because if they try and win my pawn, then I can go rook d8 and win my knight. And it's much nicer than playing rook d8 now, because then we get a trade of minor pieces, and the bishop and rook is a better tag team than rook and knight, especially in the open position, especially with pawns on both sides of the board. So, yeah, very, very nice to see that we navigated this correctly. Of course, Axel Smith doesn't mention bishop takes b7. Why would he? The engine doesn't approve. But rook d7, yeah, beautiful, beautiful save. Yeah. Oh, so fast fell actually knight c6 in the starting position, but I didn't really see what the point was. Like, rook takes d2 just felt too strong. I think that was the point, right? Knight c6, rook takes d2. Oh, so knight c6 is good. Yeah, it's just not as good. Rook takes d2 and okay, at least in fairness, Faz, I mean, it's still +2. So bishop takes... Oh, and queen b5. Yeah. I mean, what about just queen c5? Like, where's your advantage? Oh, bishop b4 and you win a piece. Like this. Queen b5, maybe... Yeah, you need to find a4. I guess it's a bit tricky. Definitely trickier than just knight e6. So yeah, knight e6 definitely the best move. Actually, did no one find this knight e6? That's really surprising. I'll quickly answer Jum's question about how I like the Woodpecker method compared to other tactics book. I would say that the puzzles are good because they're from good quality games, but the book is poorly written. It doesn't show enough variations nor enough explanations, and there are inconsistencies. But on Chessable, the format is quite nice, and at the end of the day, some work is better than no work. So even if it's not perfect, if it's somehow gotten me in a routine of training tactics, this is the most important thing. Yeah, I should probably do a chess lifestyle vid on Fabi playing C3 Venom. So I should make a video on that while it's still hot. That's not a bad shout. Maybe I can do that tomorrow. Analyze the game and make a nice nice video on it. Okay, we've got 12 more minutes to go. Let's do one more. Okay, Tau to beat Ripley, 1985. And again, suddenly I'm daydreaming, and like Rook takes F3 just looks really strong. And because it looks really, really strong, let me just quickly look at it. So, wait, Queen, Rook, Rook, Knight, Queen, Rook, double Bishop, Knight. So, okay, they've got the Bishop pair. We've got 4, 7, 6. Okay, so we're Pawn and a Rook for Bishop pair. Rook takes F3 looks even more enticing then from a positional standpoint. And if Knight takes, then we just win the Rook. And that looks very good. If Rook takes, King takes, then we could go here. And the point is on if King has to take. Which it probably doesn't, right? They can probably just move back somewhere. But if they were to take, I think surely Queen D5 is winning. King D6 is forced. I mean, Rook at F3, Knight takes F3, Queen takes D1 looks somehow tempting. Especially with the Bishop and the Knight being pressured at the end. Though King F2 would defend both, I think. With this. I don't know. So yeah, exactly. I should just calculate and get it right instead of just, you know, stab in the dark and get it wrong. So okay, let's look at our checks. Well, before we look at our checks, what are our hanging pieces? Where are the X-rays? So we've got pressure on G3, pressure on G3, pressure on D1, maybe even pressure on the Queen. And likewise. And likewise, there's a Knight loose on B6. Maybe Queen C5 one day to come in here if this all opens up. Pawn is actually a bit loose. And the Queen is loose as well, this Queen. So okay, let's begin with our candidates then. So what checks do we have? We only have one check, which looks pretty bad. What about our captures? We've got Rook takes, Rook takes, Rook takes, Pawn takes. And then what about threats? Maybe F4 could do something. G5 I guess is a threat, but looks awful. Maybe the Queen is almost trapped, so maybe we could try and find a way to trap it, although I don't really see a way. Maybe Rook F6? So okay, let's start with our check. I really don't see any more threats. I mean, maybe Knight D5 to try and come in here. Could that be an idea? And maybe like taking with combination of this Queen C5 stuff, maybe. Okay, so if we start with our check, Rook takes D2. If we just take back with the Rook, do we have anything here? Looks pretty sad. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. So what about captures? If rook takes c3, we do just win a pawn, which is quite nice. I guess they've got this discovery from the knight, because their rook is defended by their bishop, so maybe they could do something here. Maybe they could take the pawn first, and then we can't even take back with the pawn because we hang our queen. Maybe there are some ideas of like then knight e4. It doesn't look nice. So what about taking this pawn? I guess they can take with the bishop. Maybe we can try and bring our knight in, but our rook is hanging. Yeah, so pawn takes. Take with the bishop, I don't really see a move. Rook takes g3 doesn't help either. So okay, I think let's leave that for now. Rook takes f3 was my initial idea. If they go king takes, maybe we don't have to take the pawn. Maybe we can play a check on d3. Yeah, queen check on d3 looks quite nice. They can't block with the queen because otherwise I'll do a double check, taking on e4. And if they go back to g2, do we have a follow-up? Yeah, I can go queen e2, pick up the rook. So actually queen d3 is huge. Queen d3 then, that means king f2 is forced. And surely we've just got a win here. Takes on e4. Still can't go to g2. Guess he has to go to e1. And surely there's something here. Probably queen takes g3. I've already regained my material and their king is extremely weak. Probably we just go rook f2 and then king has to go back to e1. And then we go queen g1, queen takes f1 and it's mate. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like I just didn't see that queen d3 was an option when I started initially tunnel visioning. Like I need to see all the features in the position, see all the squares, absorb the position, and then I can find stuff. Otherwise it's just hopeless. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that wins. Let me just double check. There's no other moves they can try here. I mean, we already looked at knight takes. And if king takes, we go queen d3. And there any other moves I could possibly be missing. And just no. And is winning the rook at the very end enough? Because sometimes I do this. Sometimes I say like, oh, I win the rook, I'm a piece up and I'm winning. But what is the position saying? Position saying I'm completely winning as well. So we do it. Okay, so they just gave up. And queen d3 wins the rook on d1. Yeah, looks like a very simple puzzle. But yeah, I need to just go step by step. And yeah, don't tunnel vision. It's clearly not consistent enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like you guys have found this rook takes f3, which is really good. Faz, Josh, and Frizz, so good job. Rook takes f3 intuition so strong I play it instantly in a classical game. Or Frizz, I hate to say it, but 1 in 50 classical games, you would lose rating. Like, do not instantly play anything that's a critical position in a classical game. I don't know if you're saying this like, you know, just for exaggeration, but in case it's not, like, you really can't. I don't care how good your intuition is, like, you cannot do this instantly. But yeah, if you then calculate all the lines and see that queen d3 wins in every case, then of course you can play it. Not a good puzzle, only one candidate move. Yeah, not for me, unfortunately. I mean, I do see how it is quite simple, but yeah, queen d3. Okay, good, you triple check. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, it's like you never know. I mean, I've seen horrible stuff happen in classical games where like one side might literally have checkmate in two, and they just put the queen on a square where it can get taken. It's awful because you just stop calculating. I mean, I don't know if I can find this game without revealing the player because I don't want to embarrass the player on stream. Okay, you know what? Just to prove my point, I'm gonna quickly show you guys something, and I think this is gonna be really educational. So let me find this game real quick. I actually don't know if I can find it, but hopefully I can. The PGN's not uploaded. Rats. Yeah, unfortunately I can't find the game then. But yeah, no, literally, I was going to show a game where a friend of mine played a literal flawless game from start to finish. It was a beautiful game, and with 4 different ways to give mate. He played a queen move, and his opponent just took his queen, and he just did not see that it was safe, and once losing the queen, he had to just resign. It was literally perfect game from start to finish. Like, literally zero mistakes, 0 inaccuracies, 0 blunders. Completely outplayed the opponent, who was like 300 points higher. And just because, he's, generally a more intuitive player, I guess, like, the excitement got the better of him, and he just completely forgot that there was, like, a piece on the other side of a board that could take. It was absolutely horrific. But yeah, it's just another lesson. You just have to calculate. There is no... you don't mess around. It's just discipline if you've got the time. Yeah, said like a veteran soldier, for real. No, it's not you, Josh. If it's your game, you're permission to show it. No, it's not yours. But I mean, you also speak like a veteran soldier there. Like we've all had such horrific situations. Oh man, I experienced a horrific situation for one of my students today, and it was really awful because he was really embarrassed about this game because he played a tournament at the weekend, and it was like an online tournament, nothing too serious. But I guess for him, it's he's still trying to take it seriously. And his first round, he ended up playing the tournament winner, and he actually outplayed the kid from start to finish, and. I mean, I can even show you the game. Yeah, I'll show you guys the game. I think it's really... I mean, I don't know. I think you guys are a bit too strong for it to be, useful from a chess perspective. But just from a game perspective, I mean, just to understand that, this kind of stuff happens at all levels. And, yeah, it's just... you know what? Let's see it. Wait, what's the best way to do it? Okay, let me do this for a sec. Let me do it like this. Yeah, this absolutely brutal. But yeah, he was really upset. Yeah, this is gonna really hurt. Okay, let me do this. Let's see if this works. Maybe let's just go full screen. I think that's easier. So, okay, my student is with the black pieces, and he ended up playing the tournament winner, who literally smashed the event. And this is how it went. So, okay, my student is like I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old or something. So, you gotta bear with the openings. But okay, he knows his Caro-Kann. He understands to get the bishop outside of a chain. And he played this move bishop e4. I gave him a little bit of stick for it because I was like, there are other pieces to develop. But he didn't want to get his bishop trapped. So we had a look at how, why this g4, h4 stuff isn't scary. He ended up getting this trade. He played for c5. And here again, like I was suggesting that, it's better to move the queen. And not, give up. giving up the dark square bishop, but developing is maybe one plan, but f6 is kind of unnecessary, right? Like, we already have a slightly better position, and this is just, creating weaknesses, right? But still, okay, it's not the end of the world. Black puts his pieces on sticky squares and gets castled, which is very nice to see. Improves the knight. Gets the king a little bit safer. And this was a 5+3 game as well. So this was the moment where basically I think he kind of didn't know what to do. And I think also, like, he's still at that age where he's just, like, trying to blitz out his moves. And he's not slowing down. So instead of just slowing down and finding a plan and basically, let's say, just going after the c3 pawn, he decided to play rook g8, which just makes no sense at all. And then he finds a plan to go after the c3 pawn, which he does. And white plays rook c1. He even finds knight e2 because he's been doing his tactics. I've been getting him to train them. And white even plays rook a2 here, which makes no sense. And knight e5. And you can see where this is going, right? Absolutely brutal. And yeah, the pain starts young. And all I had to tell him was, like, you're not going to miss this again. Or if you miss this again, it's only going to happen a couple more times. And at some point, you're just going to stop missing it. And he was just so devastated. But this is the thing, right? You just get a bit too confident. You think that, you can just trust your intuition. You stop calculating and you get punished. So basically, don't do that. Always calculate. And yeah, absolutely brutal stuff. Like, you can't imagine how soul crushing, like, these emotions are for like a 6-year-old who's like, just trying to improve at the game. I mean, like, like there's probably nothing else in his life where he completely outperforms the opposition for 95% of the game and then makes one miss and then loses. Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe rook a2 is the biggest brain move ever, because, I mean, maybe in this position, like, with the rook on the board, and if white plays, like, knight g5, then you're really looking, what is the point of knight g5, right? But once you sack the rook, black gets into such a false sense of security that you just miss that there could be any reason, right? It's actually crazy. Knight a2 is actually, I mean, rook a2 is actually, like, genius from white. If it was played with that intention, of course. Otherwise, Oh, that's funny, Faz. I got anxiety with the mating net as soon as I saw rook g8. Yeah. And that's how kids learn shogi. Honestly. There's so much trauma. So much trauma in chess. It's crazy. But yeah, no. I mean, I think he's a really, like, promising student. I mean, he's so young and he's already finding such nice ideas. But yeah, I mean, like, it's really interesting to see, like, even in my students, like, some kids are just completely cold-blooded and just move on and stuff. And then some kids are just completely emotional wrecks. Like, yeah, I mean, my poor student could barely even, like, go through this game with me because he was just so upset with how it ended. It was like a really real struggle to even, like, even analyze it, right? So it's just really interesting how, like, yeah, just these differences between human beings. And also it's like, I really think that, like, these differences are not all nurture as well, because I see differences within the family and you may think, okay, maybe siblings have been brought up differently, but I really do think there's some, like, inherent nature in some of these kind of characteristics. But yeah, brutal game. And promising things still, because I mean, in the end, the tournament was a complete bomb for my student, because after this game, he was very upset, and then he was making blunders, and the game qualities were getting worse. But yeah, this will come with experience and practice as well. Like I think when you make blunders in tournaments, it's just as much the blunder itself, but also how you handle your emotions post blunder. Like, if you've still got a whole tournament to play, like, how you recover from such a game is like, incredibly important. So yeah, lots to learn. I cannot fathom another intention. Well, I can. I mean, when 6-year-olds play or 7-year-olds play, like, I can imagine White just like being like, like, I'm gonna play for stalemate or something. I'm gonna give up all my pieces and then be like, oh wait, I've actually got a checkmate. I mean, it could have been luck. Genuinely, it's really tough to say. But yeah, no, Rook A2. If it's done intentionally, I mean, yeah. And okay, actually, like I talk like I don't know the opponent. I actually am teaching the opponent in a group lesson, and I've only had 2 sessions with him, but he's definitely showing signs of like real strength. I mean, you can see there's a lot of inaccuracies with White's play as well, but I mean, like, yeah, it's just, yeah, Rook A2. What a move! What a move here. Yeah, actually, I didn't even appreciate Rook A2 until we discussed this. I mean, maybe this kid is born to be a swindler. Maybe if I do a swindler lesson, I'm gonna have to show this Rook A2, especially if I teach this group class, and I'll bring up his game. Yeah. But okay, hope you learned something from this stream, and I'm glad like my calculation on the whole was pretty strong, even if it was a bit slow. Yeah, the work's being put in, and my next chess thing is a Blitz tournament tomorrow in Liverpool, just a casual one. It's not serious. I don't think there's an entry fee, and I don't think there's a price. So just for honor. But yeah, should be fun, and yeah, we'll test my skills. And if any of you have any ideas for promoting my Garganita Modern course, do let me know. I think Josh, that idea for the C3 Venom Fabi link is a great idea. And yeah, I will see you on Wednesday for some more training. Okay, bye guys.